So now that we have opened the /etc/password file, let us try to understand the format of that file. So typically you see such rows in the /etc/password file. Let us understand what each item signifies or what each item means. Root is the username. X is displayed instead of the password. So for every account, the second column is where the password should be stored. But the password is not stored in the /etc/password file. So instead of the password, you have X being displayed. After that, you have a number. If it's 0, then it usually means it's a root user or a super user. If it's not 0, if it's some other number like 1001, that means it's a regular user. So just the way in, I think, SAM file as well, the number that is mentioned in a particular row tells you whether it's a root account or rather an admin account or not. Similarly, even in the Unix password file, the number that is mentioned will tell you whether it's a root account or whether it is a regular user account. Then you have the third column is another number, which is the group ID, which is normally used for file security. So if you're logged in as a particular user, then you can only access files that have the same group ID as your account. Unless, of course, you figure out a way to crack the whole system. Then you have root. Root is the full name of the user. Okay. Then you have a colon followed by the home directory of the user. So if you're a root account, then your home directory is /root. If you're a regular user, then it's usually /home/your username, which in this case is Ankit. And then finally you have the shell account of the user, which is bin/bash or bin/sh. Okay. So you can actually save the password file in a text file by typing the command cat/etc/password greater than sign password file.txt. I repeat, cat/etc/password greater than sign password file.txt. So let me go ahead and type this command. I'm just typing this command. So what's happened is that the contents of the password file have now been saved in this text file. Now to view that text file, or rather to view the shadowed file where the password is stored, you gotta type the command cat/etc/shadow. So remember, /etc/password is not where the password gets stored. Instead, it is stored in /etc/shadow. So let's open the shadow file now. So if you notice, once again, there is all sorts of stuff that has been displayed on the screen. Let us now understand how to convert all this stuff into the actual password. So what is the format of the etc shadow file? So if you look at the screen, this is what you will typically see in that shadow file. First entry is the username, so it's root or Ankit Faria or AFCH2, whatever. Second entry is the encrypted password. So this is where the Unix password is stored. Next comes the number of days since January 1st, 1970, since the password was last changed. So it basically tells you when the last time the password was changed. And then comes the section which says number of days after which password can be changed. So anytime it can be changed, so that's why it's 0. And number of days after which user will be forced to change the password. And if it's 999999, then it means it will be never. And then number of days to warn user of an expiring password. So these are all admin kind of features. Okay, so now just the way we had saved the password file, you can also save the shadow file by typing the command cat /etc/shadow greater than sign shadow file.txt. Shadow file.txt. So let's type the command. Just the same way we had saved the password file in a text file, we're now going to save the shadow file in shadow file.txt. Okay. So up until now, we have viewed the password file, also viewed the shadow file, and then we have copied the contents into two different text files. So let us now see how to actually crack the Unix password. So you need a software called John the Ripper. John the Ripper is available as a free download on the internet, and generally in Backtrack and Kali, it comes pre-installed. So you don't need to bother about downloading it again. So let me open up John the Ripper on my operating system. So I click on Applications, Backtrack, Privilege Escalation, Password Attacks, Offline Attacks, and John the Ripper. Alright, so I've opened up John the Ripper. So let's see, how do you actually go about cracking the password from the password file. Now we need to now copy the saved password file to the John the Ripper folder. The John the Ripper folder is /pentest/passwords/John. If you're using some other operating system like Kali, then you can just do a quick search to find the exact path name of the John the Ripper folder in your operating system. But essentially we need to copy the password file, the password file.txt file to the John the Ripper folder. So let's do that. So essentially, you can, just the way you are normally, say in Windows Explorer, you would explore the various parts of your system. Similarly, you can do that on Linux as well. So you have desktop, you have root, and root is where the password file is there. So I copy it. Go to File System, Pen Test. Let me just look at Pen Test Passwords, and then John. So I'm going to paste it over here. Replace. So I have copied the password file.txt from the root directory to the John the Ripper directory. Similarly, I need to copy the shadow file as well. So I go back to root, copy the shadow file, go to pentest /passwords/John, and I paste the shadow file.txt. Replace. So we copied the text files for shadow file.txt and password file.txt, and now just to kind of make sure that the two files are there in the John the Ripper folder, we can type the ls command, right? So I'm showing you step by step exactly what you need to do. I may be oversimplifying or making it too easy or like taking too much time, but it's only so that you properly understand how this is done. So if I type ls, you have password file.txt, and then you have shadow file.txt as well, and we are in the pentest/password/john folder. So whatever that folder is in your operating system, make sure it's there. Now is the very important command. So there is something known as unshadowing the password file. So before you can crack it, you need to unshadow the password file. So you got to type the command /unshadow password file.txt space shadow file.txt greater than sign crack.txt. So I know it's not visible, it's crack.txt. So /unshadow space password file.txt space shadow file.txt greater than sign crack.txt. So let me go ahead and type that command in backtrack. And you can do it in your respective operating system. Alright, so I have managed to unshadow the password file. Next comes another equally important command. Before that, just to double check if the file exists or not, you can type the ls command. I'm going to skip that, but the next command is extremely important. So you type /john space crack.txt. So /john space crack.txt. So John crack.txt. So it's now trying to crack the password. Let's see whether it's able to do that or not. So let's just wait. While it's going on, if you notice in the screenshot as well, eventually once the command gets over, the next command that you got to type is /john /show crack.txt. Okay. So it's still kind of running. So it takes some time. So let's just wait for it to kind of continue. Once the entire cracking process gets over, you type the command /john /show crack.txt. Crack.txt. So if you ever get impatient, you can just press enter and it will tell you how much or what process or what step of the entire crack process it has reached. So I'm just going to wait. At this point, we don't really have a choice but to wait. So let's be patient and wait. depending on how complex the password is, it will take an appropriate amount of time to crack the password. Any guesses on how this is working? It's nothing but brute force. John the Ripper is primarily a brute force type of tool. So whenever you press enter, it tells you the percentage that it's done. So it's only 6% done of the total, possibilities, permutation combinations that are possible. And it tells you the password that it is trying. So every time I press enter, it tells me the password that it is currently trying. So what we'll do is, maybe we can continue running this in the back end, and in the interest of time, maybe I should continue, and then we can always come back and look at this at a later stage, right? Because this will take some time. If you look at the percentage, it's only around 7% done, so maybe you should give it some time. Alright, so I'm going to minimize it, but the point is that when you are done with this command, you'll see something like this on the screen. It says use the -- show option to display all the cracked passwords reliably, and that's when you type the command /John space -- show crack.txt. And as soon as you do that, if you look at the screenshot, I ran this screenshot, or took this screenshot when there are only 2 accounts, root and Ankit Fadia. And if you notice, both the passwords are Ankit. For both the root account, the password is Ankit, and even for Ankit Fadia, the password is Ankit. So that has been displayed as output. So let me just check it one last time, and then we can proceed and come back to it at a later stage. Yeah, it's only 9% done. So if we wait for it to be 100%, it will take a very long time. So let's go ahead and continue. That's how you can crack Unix passwords. So at this point of time, let's quickly move on to the third attack that is possible using Unix, using backtrack, using Kali, and it is Mac spoofing. We've already seen Mac spoofing earlier, where we use Windows. We use a software called Mac Makeup to spoof our Mac address. And now we will see how you can use Linux or Unix to perform Mac spoofing. So there's a tool called Mac Changer that you can use. Mac Changer allows you to spoof your Mac address easily. And in Backtrack, you basically click on Applications, Backtrack, Miscellaneous Network, Mac Changer. Or there's another way of changing your MAC address, which I'll show you now. And the second technique is using a software called ifconfig. Ifconfig is basically a tool or a command that is available in Unix, which you can use to spoof your MAC address. So if you just type ifconfig, it will first of all show you current MAC address. So basically ifconfig you have to use along with Mac Changer. Right? Mac Changer is a tool that allows you to spoof your MAC address, and ifconfig, when used along with Mac Changer, both of them together will allow you to perform Mac spoofing. So the first command is ifconfig. Ifconfig allows you to view your current MAC address. So if all of you look at the screen, my current MAC address has been displayed on the screen along with my IP address as well. So before you can spoof your MAC address, the first step that you need to perform is you need to shut down your interface. So you type a command like ifconfig eth1 down. So ifconfig eth1 down. Now instead of eth1, your interface number may be different as well. And when I give the demo, it will be very clear. Next is you use the Mac changer command, which is usually there in most both backtrack and Kali. And the command is Mac changer -r eth1. If not eth1, some other interface number. So if you notice, when you type the command, it will automatically spoof your MAC address for you. And then you type ifconfig eth1 up. So that will basically bring your interface up again. And then you can double check your MAC address by typing the ifconfig command. And if you notice, the MAC address has changed. As simple as that. So let me quickly give a demonstration of this technique to all of you. In the meantime, if you notice in backtrack, we are at 14% of cracking the Unix password. So the first step is type ifconfig. So ifconfig will basically give you your MAC address and your IP address, right? And the interface number is mentioned on the left hand side. So there's eth1 and LO. eth1 is the interface whose MAC address we wish to change. So I need to first bring the interface down, right? So step number 1 was ifconfig eth1 down. ifconfig eth1 down. So let's do that. Alright, so the interface has been brought down, and now I type the command Mac changer -r followed by the interface whose MAC address I wish to change. Press enter, and this is what has been displayed on the screen. It shows you the current MAC address, and then it tells you the faked MAC address as well, the new MAC address that has been given to it. Now I use the ifconfig command to bring the interface back up. So I type ifconfig eth1 up, press enter, and the interface is back up. And now I type just ifconfig, and if you notice, the MAC address that is now assigned to my interface is the fake MAC address. So compare it with the fake MAC address that has been displayed. So it's 241750 dfcfdb. 241750 dfcfdb. So it's exactly the same as the fake MAC address. So that is how you can spoof your MAC address using Mac changer and the ifconfig command. So that concludes the third attack that is possible using Linux, backtrack, or Kali. The fourth command is network reconnaissance, or the fourth attack is network reconnaissance with Nmap. So both Kali and backtrack come with Nmap pre-installed, Nmap or Zenmap, whatever you want to call it, and all the commands of Nmap that we used in Windows will also be applicable for backtrack, Linux, or Kali. So all Nmap commands that work on Windows will also work on backtrack. So let us quickly see an example.